Welcome, welcome everyone for another episode, a speed round interview to inspire you to live your freedom lifestyle. Hello, Casey Rossi, how are you?
I'm doing great, Rachel. How are you?
I'm great, and I'm super excited to have you, to bombard you with a few short questions to inspire my viewers and listeners to live their freedom lifestyle. They are now in a corporate job, trying to escape, trying to quit, trying to take the leap. And all I keep saying is don't take the leap of faith, don't jump without a parachute, but have a plan. And so there's always a few questions that come back. How do you make money? How do you find your purpose? How do you actually do it? And you are a great example that I want to talk about today. So tell us, just to begin, where are you located right now?
I'm in Naples, New York, in the Finger Lakes.
Awesome. And what is it that you do?
I'm a business and leadership coach, so I help women create a soul-aligned and profitable business without burning out.
Awesome, 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 awesome. So we want to start by taking you a few years back. And the big question that always comes back is, but Rachel, what is my purpose? How can I get clarity on what it is that I really want? I'm stuck in a job. I don't like what I'm doing. How do I, find out what I like to be doing? So how was that for you? How did you find your purpose?
Yeah, awesome. So I have always loved adventure and creativity and freedom. They have been strong values for me since I was young. And so that was very important to me that I incorporated that in whatever I did. Mm-hmm. When I first started, I actually had 9 different businesses in a 4-year period. And it wasn't until our 10th business took off that my bestie and I did and ran that for 17 years. And so there's a lot of iterations there where I think a big thing is the awareness when you're ready to change, something is out of alignment. So I think that that's huge, because if you just stay in a rut and you're very used to being fed direction, which I think happens to a lot of people in corporate environments and in that kind of like in the box linear piece, we often have a disembodiment. So I think it's so important to lift up there. You're even having this niggling of like, something's out of alignment. I am not passionate. So that's the very first step. And then from there, it's really starting to think about what lights you up and kind of doing this somatic check in your body as far as, when do I feel fun? When do I feel happy? What gives me a spark of joy? What makes me feel expansive? And sometimes we're so detached from that it may take a little time to uncover it. So 1, be patient, and 2, keep going. So for me, anytime I had a pivot along the way, I would either get sick. I definitely experienced burnout because I just stayed in that grind. I stayed in that I should zone for a really long time. And so that was a real key indicator of needing a pivot. The largest pivot to your question, Rachel, is when I decided to sell that company, which was really successful. We were making 7+ figures annually. So many people were like, why are you getting out of this? Like, you've made it, you've succeeded. But I was really starting to get into the holistic modalities, and I was feeling out of alignment selling sugar. And I really wanted to pivot into something that was more integrated and holistic. And so that was like a big, big leap of planned faith, as you mentioned.
Thank you for sharing. Yeah, it reminds me of, really finding your purpose and going deep within, really. And that's what you're saying as well, like really like, okay, what is aligned with me? What is my gut telling me? What is, and I created a free download that people can download below, and it's called Your Sweet Spot. So it's really like, okay, there's a passion, there's a purpose, there's a mission. What's that sweet spot that you can actually monetize? And talking about monetization, this is something also that, when you're coming from corporate, you have a big paycheck. Really, the first steps into making money, you as a coach, how did you actually start? Like, really the beginning?
Yeah, such a great question. So when I did that pivot, I went back to one of my loves, because when I asked myself, what is that kind of sweet spot that you're talking about? I was the most happy when I was around plants, plant medicine, and alternative modalities to get back into health. And so I started just doing more of that, networking more in that community, showing up really strong in that community, writing articles for them, volunteering to give valuable tips in their newsletter, showing up for speaking engagements. And that really started to build the know, like, and trust factor. And so when people were like, well, what do you do? And I could say, well, I take the 2 decades I had of building something from nothing with 10 previous businesses. And at that point, I was specifically coaching aromatherapists. And since they had already seen me in that arena, because I took my first certification in 94, so I wasn't new on the scene. So I think for your listeners, a great tip is we all have these connections in our own backyard. They may not have been through the lens of your typical corporate job, but if you think about, maybe it was a hobby, or maybe it was some other special interest group that you were a part of. In that arena, people know you. And we know that that trifecta of marketing is to build those know, like, and trust factors. And so for me personally, I really went into that space where people had seen my name, they had seen my articles, they had seen me giving a lot of value in that arena. And that's literally how I filled my client roster and started, earning money and that new coaching career.
I love that, Casey. I really, really, really do. Because your network, the people, I mean, you have a network already, right? And you put in the effort, and you took action, and you gave value, value, value. And in the beginning, there is no money coming in, right? But you continue to give value, to take action. And that's a message that is just, that's super, super valuable. Thank you for that. So at the end of our speed interview, I always ask for a tip or tips, like maybe one, maybe two, that you have, especially for an audience that is like, I don't know, I know I'm stuck, but I don't know where to start. Like, do you have anything that comes to mind? Maybe it's a lesson learned, or just a tip or two tips. Happy to hear.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it really dovetails back to a keyword that you had said, which is the answer is within. And I feel like one of our biggest things is to get in touch with our own inner wisdom. And what does that mean? I think a lot of people make this subject so mystical that it feels that it's out of touch for us when we think about developing our intuition. But I feel that when we start to look at that as a muscle and we strengthen it, we start to listen to our heart and follow that gut instinct, we no longer need to look outside of ourselves for the answers. Because I think when we start asking multitude of people during our pivot, one, we're already vulnerable, and two, it depends on that person's perspective and life experiences. That is going to color their guidance and advice to you. And only you can make those decisions if you truly want to architect a life that you want to leap to, because you're doing this to be the artist of your future, right? So you're the only one that can hold that paintbrush. And I think one of the keys that unlocks that is really developing our intuition and trusting ourselves to take action on those gut instincts.
I love it. Thank you so much. It's something that today I talked about, a few times actually. And yeah, the intuition is something I had to learn. And exactly what you said, you have to learn, develop, grow it, listen to it, and then trust. Big, huge word. Trust your intuition, because yeah, we sometimes have it and we know it, but it's like, ooh, do I follow it? Like, it's that action. I love everything you said. Casey, thank you so much. I will definitely put the links to find you below this video, but where you can tell us, for people watching, where's the best place to find you?
Absolutely. I have a free 3-part video series called Know Thyself and Lead. So that's the best way to really get an introduction, but also put this information into immediate action. And that's at kcrossi.com/lead.
Awesome. Perfect. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I love that we're on the same color.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes,
And,
absolutely.
and I wish you a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you so much.
You as well. Thank you.